forward directly for us as opposed to RMA.
It's a city department now is the change, I believe, that you're referring to.
Yes.
And
yes.
so that was not the way that it was before.
Very good.
This budget year, starting last October, the CRA was a city department, just like Public Works or utilities.
Very good. Thank you. Additional input from the public on this item. Good evening.
Good evening, Sarah Peterson, 305 Southwest First Court, Pompano Beach, Florida. First, I want to ask, why did we first enter into an agreement to have RMA to continue working with us? Why?
You been down to the beach lately?
No, Mr. Harrison. This is so.
There's $200 million worth of projects down there that are being built right now, thanks to RMA. And
okay.
That is what they were
Thanks
doing.
to the taxpayers who put money into this city, and RMA is here on a privilege. It is not for them to be here as if they own this place. They don't. They've been here. They've had their claws into this place, and it doesn't help the Northwest District. It doesn't. And you keep talking about the beach. The beach is beautiful, but yet you just said that the projects they will be working on is from 95 to Dixie, from Atlantic to MLK. That directly affects...
Go ahead, ma'am.
It affects the Northwest District. This is a company that, yes, if we want to say they didn't have conflict of interest, yet they operated a whole department of cultural arts for 4 years when it was brought to their attention that it was not within the statute for Florida, and they continued to operate. And then once they changed it, that money still has been used. That money still has been used, and they never should have been operating in cultural arts. The city should take responsibility for that because they shifted that to them. So now every time we talk about money that should be invested in that community that thoroughly needs it, we still revert back to what's going on the beach. We know what's going on the beach. A beach that up until 50 years ago, black people weren't allowed to be on. So my question is, why are we now in this position where RMA still is generating money from this community? How did we get there? How do we say to these people in this community that came here and say they didn't want them here? You guys did that, but now they're still here. Was there any option for any other management company to come in? There's nobody else in the state of Florida that can do what they're doing. Is that what we're saying?
It wouldn't make sense to bring anyone else in because they have all of the history with everything that we've been working on here, and it's just seamless to keep this going. They've never left. We're not bringing them back. They've never left. They've always been here.
We're very
on the cusp.
We're very aware they own property here. We're very aware they never left. What I'm saying is, just like these commission chairs change every 2 years and they don't know, Ms. McGee, this is your first year serving. Did you know any of the things that was going on prior to you getting in that seat? You had to learn. Ms. Eaton, you had to learn. Everybody has to learn. Everybody has to learn what's going on to make this city, and fresh eyes are good eyes. Because if not, it's the same old crap next day.
Next speaker.
Good afternoon to everyone on the dais. My name is Terry A. Williams, and do I need to give an address or anything? No?
Yes, the address for the record.
I'll use 757 Northwest 15th Street in Pompano Beach, Florida. We're talking about RMA, a company that was conflicted in Palm Beach County, where Kim Burmeister resigned, opposed to having conflict. Margate released her, and we're going to bring her back here. They say she didn't leave. I don't normally say this, but I will today. I work for the state attorney's office. And what we did learn was, some of us, when we saw this mockery here in Pompano, that the city commissioners could have voted to have this matter investigated, and you did not. But people like Vicente Thorough, they had him investigated through the state attorney's office. He was indicted, but then he won the case. Kim Burmeister, you tell me she can sit here today, work in our organization, our city, because it's not your city, it's the people's city. They pay taxes. I worked here when I was 14 years old when the commission was sitting right there, 53 years ago. And this woman can come here and you allow her to work in this entity, in this city, and say it's not conflicted for her to purchase property. I believe if you meet my challenge, vote to have it investigated. Let us do our job. Vote for the feds to come in and do the investigation. Because we all looked at this dais. You weren't here, but that's why I'm talking to you. We looked at the dais. We talk about it in places where we work. This city failed to bring a motion up to ask for the investigation when everybody in the county and other cities saw what happened here. And we found it to be a conflict and did not get any data on it from this dais. I'm asking you. You probably don't care about any of us in the Northwest area. And some people don't. When they get elected, not you all, but whomever needs us over there, they get elected and then they pit the ball. They don't care nothing about the people over there. You don't care about us, but I'm going to say this to you. Investigate it, research her, and the things and the places she's been before you go and sustain her in being here in this city. If that's the case, then everybody working for the city need to buy property, need to steal, embezzle, and be fine with it. And that's the message you're sending. We already have a problem in this country where people see things happening, that not you, but that's the message that's being sent. When we see people like her, because if it was somebody looked like me and I had done these things, I would probably be incarcerated. Think about it.
Ms. Briesmeister, I believe she needs to come forward. If you want to come forward at this point in time, just one moment. One moment, please.
I'm Briesmeister. I am a principal with Redevelopment Management Associates. My business partner, Chris Brown, is here as well. Some of you were not here in the past, and some of you did not witness some of the things that occurred last year on this dais and or in this audience. I don't have any desire to go back and start from scratch and revisit some of the things that were stated here. But what we will not do and what we will not allow is for statements to be made in a fashion that completely misrepresents us personally, misrepresents us as a company, and misstates facts. There have only been 2 speakers that have stood up so far. And so far, the statements that they have made have been very, very inaccurate. We were not released from Palm Beach County. We never worked for Palm Beach County. We worked for the city of West Palm Beach. We resigned from the city of West Palm Beach. I can continue. I will not do that. I am going to make a suggestion that RMA for 9 years has worked incredibly hard to make this city as a whole, not any one district, as a whole, a better place to be. My partner and I have been in the redevelopment business for almost 30 years each. We had very, very good reputations, not only in this city, not only in the county, not only in the state, but in the country. We are authors of books. We got an order for 21 of them just today because our experience in redevelopment is desired by many, many cities. We will not allow our reputation to be impugned simply because we appear to be sport for some folks. If people don't like us personally, that's one thing. But to put facts out there or claim they are facts when there is absolutely no truth to them whatsoever is not acceptable to us anymore. We resigned as your managers, your day-to-day managers, because there was always a question as to whether or not we were able to provide the services district-wide, and apparently in District 4 it was not deemed that those services were being provided. Therefore, we resigned because we did not want to have this degree of dissension day-to-day or during Commission and CRA board meetings. That said, our technical level of expertise, because of our 30 years experience, and as Mr. Harrison said, because of our 10 years experience here, provides us the ability to help you with project management and with the technical sides of operating this CRA. We don't make decisions. We have no desire to make decisions. We are your hired hands to help you technically process your CRA activity. Now, that said, what you have asked us to do is continue to help you with some of those technical aspects of moving the agency forward. You have full-time staff, you have a full-time director, you have an executive director who has the city manager hat and the executive director hat, and you are the CRA board. You've asked us if we would provide a scope of services to you and help you with the technical aspects of the CRA, and we will do that. We will not allow anyone to stand up from this point forward and make the statements that have been made. We are very fortunate that these meetings are recorded. I would prefer to have addresses stated when people say who their names are, and I will read something into the record, and I will not respond to any other misinformation at this time, regardless of what folks may stand up and say. But I will say this for the record. Marcia, I'm going to ask you that you record what I'm going to say verbatim. The statements so far that you have heard are not true, they are incorrect, and they are inaccurate. They constitute slander, defamation, and damage to our business reputation. We intend to pursue each and every one of these issues to the full extent of the law. If this continues, each and every one of these individuals will hear from us and from our attorney. We ask you to govern yourselves accordingly. Thank you.
Very good.
Mayor?
Yes.
Can I ask her a question?
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep, ladies and gentlemen, please keep conversation outside the doors if people want to chat. Yes, Commissioner Perkins.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if Ms. Briesmeister can explain the scope of work.
Mr. Harrison will be.
I know. I saw it in the backup, Commissioner. I read it, but it's vague for me. Understand that?
Do you want Mr. Harrison to go into it now, or you want to wait?
Yes, if he could, yeah.
Okay, then let's go ahead and take a break from Commissioner Perkins. Would like to hear about scope of services from Mr. Harrison. So let's just you're next.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I guess we just put this into the record.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's talk about scope of services.
Exhibit A, scope of services 1.0, liaison. Report directly to the executive director or his designee and act as a liaison as directed on real estate and public-private partnerships, special projects and budget, including interfacing with CRA staff and key city departments such as finance, public works, engineering, capital improvements, development services, and others. Work and coordinate with the CRA staff, particularly with the CRA director. Attend meetings, including but not limited to development review, advisory boards, committees, city commission, or community redevelopment agency meetings as needed. Writing, preparation, and packaging of reports, memos, financial archives, and other related deliverables as requested. 2.0, P3s and real estate projects. Assist the CRA and other staff in developing.
Mr. City Manager, I've read all of that. I'm just trying to understand when it comes to the master developer. Once we send out an RFP and we receive or we appoint or choose a master developer, what is the service contract? What is RMA going to do is what I'm asking, because I'm trying to find out what can she do differently from what Nguyen can do that's already the director for
Nguyen does not begin to have the time to do all of these things on these 3 pages of Exhibit A here, Commissioner Perkins.
No, but can you be more specific about what they plan to do basically directly with the master developer?
If you'll allow me to continue, that's exactly
what you're
what the
reading.
scope
I've
of
already
service
read
is.
it, but it's still vague for me. What I'm saying is if you can better explain it, maybe she can come up and better explain it. as to exactly what she will be doing with the master developer?
Well, if you'll allow me to continue, I can tell you it's right here.
I know it's right
Point by
there. I've
point.
read that, and I get that. I see that. I've read all of the scope of work.
And that's
is
the
8
answer to your
pages.
question.
That's not an answer for me. That's not. I'm not understanding that. I'm trying to understand what is Kim Briesmeister and Chris Brown going to do with the master developer.
Okay, well,
Once the master developer comes into the innovative district, what are their plans? Now, we have a vision, and we do want them to follow the vision that's already existing.
Okay?
What do they plan to do? Can Ms. Briesmeister answer that for me?
Commissioner Perkins, how about this? Let Commissioner Harrison, or let's Executive Director Harrison, let him finish reading this real estate portion of the scope, so everybody can hear it out here. And once he's done with reading that section, maybe we can go back and he can
I've read it several times.
give a more
This next
general or more-
section, goes into good detail on your specific question about the master developer. So P3s and real estate projects, which that is what the master developer would bring to us for your eventual approval, project by project. Assist the CRA and other staff in developing effective development strategies for CRA properties and development activity in downtown Pompano and the East CRA. Advise on P3 opportunities, including development of CRA-owned sites. Assist CRA staff in securing third-party professional appraisals of its properties, securing third-party professional environmental Phase 1 and Phase 2 reports if required, coordinating surveys of all individual tracts within a development area, and procuring boundary surveys as needed. Advise on the need for plat work required on each project. Advise on the need for a land use amendment, rezoning, or other regulatory condition. Assist in writing requests for proposals or other versions of bidding, if required, for the selection of a developer in developing a CRA P3 project. Assist in the evaluation of third-party solicited or unsolicited proposals made to the CRA developers. Assist in writing a development agreement for the sale or lease of property for development. Assist in preparing a financial analysis of a proposed development, including projecting the economic benefits that the CRA would receive from such development. Assist in the oversight and management of P3 development agreements. Assist the CRA with other services pertaining to P3s and real estate as directed by the Executive Director. Assist in land acquisition for purchase or lease for parking and other public uses. So that's directly with the real estate. Now, special projects, which would, there will be special projects that will develop because of the size of this project area, 70-some acres, and the estimates are upwards of $1 billion in investment. Assist the CRA and other staff as directed in developing effective redevelopment strategies for CRA special projects in downtown Pompano and the East CRA District. Provide analysis and recommendations for project feasibility as well as an oversight services for the CRAs directed by the Executive Director or designee. Identify CRA special project opportunities, including development of CRA-owned sites as well as privately owned property. Provide project management services for CRA special projects. Community outreach. Develop project presentations and present to pertinent community organizations, committees, and boards. Business attraction. Work with the CRA to identify and secure a tenant for the special projects. Generally provide any assistance needed to promote CRA special projects, including but not limited to marketing, graphic design, collateral materials, special events, and other promotional marketing materials. And then it goes on to talk about how they would assist the CRA staff in budgeting, finance plan, et cetera, et cetera.
Very good. So now, as far as, are there further, I mean, do you have probing questions that Mr. Harrison, you want him to?
I do, but I'll just wait for the audience to ask their question.
Oh, okay. Okay, very well. Back to public input. Miss Jackson? You were next, Miss Jackson. Thank you for your patience there.
Jocelyn Jackson, Pompano Beach. What I would like to say is, me being a licensed realtor, it's rules and regulations, laws and bylaws, just like you guys have the Sunshine Law. You know, certain things you can't discuss. It is very unethical for us to be paying any representative who works for the city, work with the city, that are able to have a capital gain, period. There's no justifications in that, what happened with Kim. And also, to be threatened, we're not going to be threatened. We're residents of the Northwest District. At the end of the day, we have concerns. We have a preference. Don't get upset with us, because the number one sign was disrespect. When you want to enter in someone's community, you need to reach out to the people who live there. Not just take the initiative. That is okay. That's the right thing to do. We have local businesses here. We have local contractors and developers. They haven't had the opportunity to even take part in anything. And Kim, we're not degrading your expertise. That's not what we're not doing that. I can't turn around, but you know, I got to address you, Mayor. We're not, you know, putting her down as far as her experience. We're not doing that. But what we are saying, we don't want you for our district. It's nothing negative about her capability of what she's doing. And as I said before, we live over in the Northwest District. You guys have your areas where you live. I don't see you when I wake up in the morning. I don't see you in the afternoons. I don't see you at the basketball games. I don't see you at the football games. I don't see you. We had an awesome time. The mayor showed up. We didn't see you at the Battle of the Bands. Bands up, guns down. Then we just give Stormy Douglas all that money, pay for all that BSO security. So what are we saying? We're representing? No, Kim. We don't know. We wasn't there with you when the incident happened with Margate or West Palm Beach. But it was a conflict of interest with both cities that was written. How you want us to believe everything that's going on in your book? Okay, we believe what was written about your company. And when you resign for a purpose. Something happened. Something went wrong. And as I said again, Mayor, it's time for redemption. We need your support for the Northwest District, and we do not want RMA in our Northwest District putting up a development prior. We would like to have input on what's going on now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I already said my name, but Sarah Peterson, 305 Southwest First Court. What Ms. Briesmeister just did was very typical of what's been happening in Pompano, and that's big business taking advantage of residents who they deem aren't capable of reading between the political jargon that you write in these backups, who you get up here and you threaten with, if they speak their mind or how they feel, then they're going to be pursued legally. That's what happens, and that's why people don't come here. That's exactly why people don't stand up here. But see, there's this thing I don't do by threat, and I promise you, if that woman steps foot over into the Northwest District, I will make it my business to make sure every elected official up here don't sit here again. I have a big mouth. And it makes no sense that we have people who feel the need to come up here and threaten people when they come and address stuff about where they live. They live there. They wake up there. They see the slum in Blythe. CRA's redevelopment come in to clean up slum in Blythe. You mean slum in Blythe was existing more on the beach than it was in the Northwest District? How you clean the beach before you clean the slum in Blythe in the Northwest District? How do we even get here? Because the The area that was urgent, that needed the most attention, got the least attention and the least amount of money. And now we got crumbs and we're trying to fix a problem that needed the whole pie. So it doesn't feel good to sit here. And I don't know what two people she was talking about, but put a name on it. Put a name on it, because people come up here and they express how they feel. They get off of work and they come here and they live in this city, Mayor. They live here. And they have to sit here and listen to someone who has the money, who we're about to put $235,000. That's about 8 people I know salaried to take care of their entire home. And we're talking about somebody just to oversee projects that we already have a CRA and we already decided this. Now, whether she's been here or whatever, but those threats, you guys should take offense to that threat. You should, because you represent us. You work for us. You know, we voted for you because I voted for you, Mayor. I voted for you.
Thank you.
Against everybody in my family who didn't. I voted for you. So I'm telling you that it makes no sense to have people up here who come and go vote, who go out there and tell people to vote for you guys, and you have someone who come here who you just pay them. And they talk to your constituents like that, you should be offended.
Next speaker. Good evening, Ms. Jones.
Good evening. Carmen Jones, 721 Northwest 16th Street, Pompano Beach, Florida, zip code 33060. I'm very offended. I didn't plan to come up and say anything, but when someone we're considering contracting and they make a threat to the constituents, that concerns me. That concerns me. I know the history, the negative history. I was a part of that. I know the expertise of this organization, and they're good at what they do in development. I can't take that away from them. But we have a history that we can't ignore. We must consider that in giving this contract. How long will the contract be if it's approved tonight?
1 year.
It's a year's contract, but it's it can be terminated, of course.
At any time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe, Ms. McKenna, what is the termination clause?
I believe it's either party. I'll double check, but I think it's either party can terminate.
Either party, 30 days?
Yes. Let me just pull it up.
But with the duration being 1 year? Okay. And all of those things that you read, City Manager, will be the scope of their responsibility?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Harrison, but that wasn't the full scope. That wasn't all. That was just one.
She just said all of the things would be part of the scope.
Yes.
Okay.
There's more to it than just what was read.
Is it
Exhibit A is in the backup, and it's part of the record for tonight.
okay? Is that available to someone to take a look at, to read that back up? Okay. We've got to address that threat. A lot of the residents are not well versed in a lot of details, perhaps, but they are very emotional about their community. And I think we are professional enough and elected officials enough that maybe when we might misstep some details that we can be kind of overlooked because we're on a higher plane than to stand up and threaten residents that are concerned. I hope we address that issue with anybody that might want to do a contract with us, that when average citizens come up and just express their passions, that they don't have to feel threatened with lawsuits by people we want to do contracts with. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Name and address.
Quentin Tompkins, 436 Northwest 19th Street, Pompano Beach, Florida. I want to ask a question, and the question that I want to ask to the diocese here, are you all working for the community, working with us? Now, you sit here, and on the sign out there says Pompano Beach, and I'm not concerned about anybody else, but I'm concerned about Pompano Beach because when I look at the Martin Luther King parade, some of you come out there, walk through the community, and you wave at our people. But when they're not here, when you get on the diocese, we don't have anybody that looks like they for our people. And I want to say this, it's time to stop fooling the public. Every eye closed and not sleep. And when you have someone come up there and you acknowledge her, you call her up there and she made a statement like that, who wants someone to work in their community and get proceeds from their community that doing this and threatening the community like that? I think that if you all sit up there and go for that, it's going to be a real problem. And that's not a threat. That's not a threat. But I'm saying this, it will not go to sleep.
Very good. Next speaker. Good evening, Mr. Thrower. Just name and address, please.
Old Mayor, 1890 Northwest 6th Avenue. Mayor, where do we begin with this? Where do we begin with this, Mayor? Mayor, this went from being a conversation about a contract to, when you allowed Kim to get up and speak, to being about more than a contract. Mayor, I'm gonna give some of your colleagues a little history about the old guard that set up there prior to you all, Pat and others. Mr. Manager, I honest to God, was prepared tonight to say, hey, let's just make sure that this is a situation whereby the conflict of interest stuff is in place and so forth. But Mayor, this became a whole other battle for me. For me to say I was prepared, Mayor. Manager, I was prepared with you. But Pat Larkins and that old guard, when you sat there, Mayor, as a commissioner, when Kim made that statement, what do you think he would have said to her after she made that statement? You know what? You know what he would have said. He would have dismissed her. The city manager should have dismissed Kim just now and said, hold up, you're going a little too far. Now, I started out early tonight and said how this is going to play out. Now, how do y'all think this is going to play in Tallahassee next year? Freedom of speech was told tonight that if we say something, we're going to end up being litigated against because we just want to understand what's going on. What was the purpose of not allowing the city manager to just address and say, Mr. Thrower, to the community, here's what we're proposing. But Mr. Manager, you are the father of this city separate from the mayor. And when she said that, you should have said you're stepping out of line. That's wrong. My grandparents put their sweat and brow into this city. Your parents, Mayor, do you think your father would have liked what she just said to everybody here tonight? Honest to God, Mayor. I'm trying every which way not to be upset about this, but Mayor, I'm mad now. And I committed that I was going to come here with a different attitude tonight. I really did. But Mayor, you can't let nobody a vendor. You all would never let another vendor do what she just did tonight. Because you know why? You don't tolerate it. It was wrong. You all are the governing body of a majority African-American community. This is why you are here. This ain't a district seat for the Northwest area. You all are our governing body for our Northwest area. How do you think that make us feel? I'm asking you, how do you think that make us feel, Mayor? I'm trying not to cry. How do you think that make us feel, Mayor? That's like somebody telling us back in the days, the old days, to go work in the fields and shut up. That's how that just made me feel. And to you, Mr. Manager, I'm going to tell you, you are our manager, and you got to take our feelings into consideration. What she said was wrong. If you want this lady for a technical experience, Mayor, let's just say it. Let's be professional about it. But she can't get up here and just dog us the way she just did us. That was wrong. She should have been rebuked by all of y'all. That was wrong. And I'm telling you, some of y'all are already about to know how I'm going to handle this situation. I can't deal with that. that made me think about my grandparents. How they tore these freaking fields up here, Mayor. And to have somebody threaten us and tell us that. That's a hurtful feeling, Mayor. Vice Mayor, my grandparents. My grandfather, pastor, city manager. The vote of confidence of this community is on the balance right now tonight. And you should care about that because we cared about you when we told the mayor and commission that we wanted you here. When you came here, we gave you our vote of confidence. Mayor, we got a problem and we need to figure out how we're going to deal with it tonight.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Cindy Floyd, 1215 Northwest 27th Avenue, Pompano Beach, Florida, 33069. I would like to say, I don't get vocal often when I come to these meetings, but I can't pronounce her last name, so if I may call her Kim. I think what I've heard everyone say in regard to her company is only what's been published in the newspaper and it's online. And I'm sorry if I'm emotional, but the gentleman prior to me kind of had me stirred up a little bit. But I will say this, Kim. If you say you resigned because of the questions, but we, residents of the city of Pompano Beach, that is our right to question what you do for our city. That is our right. And if that's what made you resign, then I guess you get ready to do it again.
Thank you. Further input from the public. Pastor.
Pastor Gary McLemore, 1751, Northwest 6th Avenue. Some of my colleagues just been texting me as a result of not so much about how Mrs. Breeden, I'm not going to respond to that. But my question is, how are you guys going to respond to it? Number one, we kind of share the same responsibility. The Bible called people like you guys shepherds. Jesus called himself a good shepherd. He says a good shepherd lays his life down for the sheep. The people you represent are like sheep. So it kind of makes us a little defensive if you guys don't say anything. Now, regardless of how much we come up here, doesn't make a difference until you say something. I want to know what kind of response that you guys are going to make. I don't care how it comes, Mayor, Commissioners. I hate discord under any circumstance. Right now, this city is in discord. Now, you guys can either come together and make a decision that can make this city whole again, or you can just ignore it and say we're going to do business as usual. Well, some of you guys I've met with personally. My colleagues is not going to like this. And so if you make a decision that does not reflect harmony in this city, then I suppose you'll be hearing from us. So that's not a threat. But we care about the city as well as you guys do. Normally, you've been knowing me for some time now, Mayor Harden. This is the first time I've been in the city for 65 years. I've never came to this podium to speak. I don't do business here. But tonight, my heart is really saddened. I spoke to Ms. Breeze Mauser way before she came into the Northwest. And one of the things I said to her, when you come in our community, you don't come in with a bulldozer. You walk in. You treat us like human beings. Now, she could remember this conversation when I met her almost 5 years ago when the office was over on the other side of the beach. Tonight, whether she owns a building, wherever it is, in our district, in whoever district, I'm not concerned about that. I'm just concerned about how you guys are going to respond for the people who you represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Further input from the public. Good evening.
Good evening. Linda Taylor, 1621 Northwest 2nd Terrace. I'm like the gentleman. I don't come up here. I come to the meetings all the time. My mama always told me to speak only when I have something to say. So I come to these meetings and I say nothing. But tonight I'm offended as well. Because I had parents that love this city, raised 7 children in this city. I went to school in this city. And for somebody to make me feel like my back is against the wall. See, I'm a fighter. And I will come out fighting. But I am insulted about what this lady has to say. You all say the same people come up here. And that's because they have something to say. That's because they want to challenge you. Tonight, I'm appalled about what went on in this meeting. It's like the man said, you all are our shepherds. You all are our leaders. You all are our eyes in the community. You come and you wave at us. We wear your shirts just like I got on this shirt tonight. And we out there, we're holding your signs, and we're doing all this kind of stuff. And yet you allow someone else to come in here, one of your colleagues, your constituents, your friends of friends, or however you want to address this. But this is a problem, and it's a problem for me. I'm offended. And my mom also had this saying, sometimes you got to know how to hold them and then fold them.
Thank you. Next speaker. Evening, Mr. Dillard.
My name is George Dillard. I live in 1671 North Cypress Road, Pompano Beach. And I'm probably the second or third oldest African American in this building tonight. And I've been in Pompano all my life. What this lady said tonight took me back 60 years. You know, I was very hurt by what she said. It's like, I don't mean anything. I'm a black man that don't mean nothing anymore. And a lot of people are saying the same thing, which is true. I've seen my community almost look the same way for 69 years. And it's time for change. And I'm a garbage person. I don't have anything against nobody. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. Commissioner, Mr. Harrison, Ms. Perkins, everybody, Barry Moss, it's time for change, man. We can't keep this up. Time to stop. Like I said before, excuse me, let me change my voice here. Like I said before, got this from Martin Luther King from the Bible. He who was greatest among you shall be your servant. Like the lady said, we voted on everybody here. You are our servants. And we're looking forward for everybody up here to serve us the right way. My community, drugs, stuff like that. Man, we got to change this community, man. And I'm up and speak with about 30, 40,000 black people that Mr. Dillard go up there and speak for us. I say, man, I'm tired. Because it don't look like anything's getting done. But I'm here again. All I can say, I don't know, I have, matter of fact, I'll be perfect, I never heard of RMA until tonight. You know, and some of the things that went on with it, I guess, wasn't right. And it sounded, when you tell me they don't have the right to speak my mind, it takes me back to when my mother was a child, when she was a maid for this guy, and she was sick with asthma. And she said that she needed money from this guy to help her to go to the doctor. He wouldn't give it to her. You know, this is what it sounds like to me. It's time for change, man. It's time to help the Northwest section people. It's time to come together as white race, black race. I don't care what race you are. It's time for us to start pulling together and make this a better place to live. Because you can see what's going on in it. It's falling apart. And it's falling apart because of greed, and it's falling apart because of prejudice. And we got to stop this. You know, I'm for everybody. Because if I wouldn't be for everybody, God wouldn't have me up here. So I'm hoping tonight that you guys understood what this lady said was dead wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Good evening.
Good evening. Tundra King, 124 Northwest 15th Street, Pompano Beach. Mayor, I came before the commission some time ago, and I left you all with a challenge because I had been disturbed by some sad statistics that I'd heard the night before I came to this commission meeting. I've been out of touch a little bit with Pompano Beach, but since I've retired, I moved back here to Pompano Beach, but I grew up and I was raised here. My family raised 9 of us here in Pompano Beach. And at that time, I shared with you a very alarming stat that said Pompano Beach and Miami Gardens were amongst the top with crime and things in their area. I never thought there would come a day that we would be in categories with Miami Gardens. I'm sure they have people that work hard just as you, but definitely I know you would want that stat change. And tonight, I still hear things that made that stat possible. And the fact that someone won't consider our feelings for what we want in our community. As many speakers have stated, we live there, we sleep there, we do business there, and we want our things and our property and things that go up in our neighborhood to look just like Atlantic Boulevard, to look just like A1A. And there's a huge disparity, and you would have to be Ray Charles not to see the difference. And shame on everybody that's on this dais if you can't see the difference and you don't want to impact change. And change has to start right in here. The people that we elected to have our back and to be concerned about the way we feel. My mom is very sick today. She wasn't able to come here. But she doesn't have to come here because I have their back, because they paid their dues. They've worked in this city. And it's many things that continue to offend us to let us know that we don't matter here and that our voice doesn't count. I was offended that you would want to name the pier after the Fishers. My family worked very hard, and many other families have worked very hard, put 3 names on it. So that, along with what we saw here tonight, tells us that you don't care about us, and you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Thank you. Further input from the public? No one else? Public in? Yeah. Come forward.
Came again, 2460 Southeast Fifth Street. I just want to answer something that was mentioned about the conflict of interest and how RMA was cleared, and that happened about a year ago, of any conflict of interest. However, the county accepts an ethics law, which is about 2 or 3 years old, that recognizes the appearance of conflict of interest. And exactly what it means, I'm not sure legally, and possibly they are cleared anyway. But when you own property in the area that you're developing, you're certainly open to the appearance of a conflict of interest. You will have many times, and you're not the decision maker, but you can make presentations where it just appears anyway that your property now is going to be the real benefactor of all the improvements in that area. And we don't know who else owns all these other properties around, and I'm only talking about McNair Park area. I don't know about the other properties on the rest of Atlantic Boulevard on the west side. But they all have LLC after their name. You don't know who owns this. I know Fisher owns some properties up there by McNair Park. And, I think it's something that really the public should be aware of. And it needs more transparency. And I think that's one thing we do need in the city. And the second thing is this. It was mentioned that RMA has a certain level of technical expertise, and yes, they do. But when I look and see 2 restaurants on the beach, on sand, that weren't there before, as I know one restaurant was there like 10 or 20 years ago, but the ability to build again had expired for them. You see 2 restaurants on land that's zoned park, open space, or beach, and has become commercialized. And this was RMA's way of doing things. What's to stop the rest of the beach from being developed all the way out to Fort Lauderdale by the Sea? What's to stop it anyway? If you can get away with developing those 2 lots. Now, I know with the second restaurant, they're promising the city is trying to promise a garage to be built. All right, the city's not going to pay for this garage. And believe me, I think the garage that was built is beautiful, and we did need a garage on the beach. But a second garage to accommodate this second restaurant is really absurd when I understand that this garage operator will build the garage in return for development rights for hotels or condos or something in Oceanside Park, which the city is now going, again, that's another piece of land that's zoned for park and open space with the county, and now the city is going to try and rezone it for commercial use. And then you go on to McNair Road now. I'm finished now. Go on to McNair Park. And the way to do McNair Park now, which is zoned park and recreation, open space, to commercialize it with a restaurant and 2 hotels, well, the way to do it is to give a lease, just like you did on the beach. And I think that's wrong. We will lose more park space. And don't tell me about the Elks Club and how that property is going to be a park. We should be encouraging more parks throughout all of the city, throughout all of the communities, so that they all can enjoy a park within 10 or 5 blocks away anyway. But this is really wrong, and I think it is generated by RMA, and I think that's their way of writing a book and being successful, and it's really it's not transparent enough, and it's trying to really fool the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Further input from the public? Nope. Last call, input from the public. Seeing none? Public input is closed. Board discussion. Open it up for board discussion. Any comments, questions? Nothing? You're all set, Commissioner?
I was going to let the commissioner speak first.
Okay. Commissioner Eaton?
Sometimes it's kind of hard to hear on this dais, just so y'all know, that all the sound projects out, so that when we sit here, It's very difficult sometimes to hear our fellow commissioners because the sound projects that way. We don't get any sound. Okay, so we can only sometimes get the ambient sound. Just want to say that. I too feel sort of saddened by what has taken place here. And I do care about our city the same way I live in District 2. I feel like I can go over to District 1, go to the beach. I can go to District 5, to Palmer. I can go anywhere I want to in the city. And I consider it my city everywhere. And I think that's really the way we really all need to start looking at it. What I am concerned about tonight is a $1 billion project called the Innovation District. That is the final icing on the cake to put the Northwest CRA over the top after so many years. Now, I do recall what happened with the RMA. And I kind of look at it a little different, and I just want to say, well, I want to say that, hey, they thought enough of Pompano Beach to invest in Pompano Beach. So I don't know if that there's particularly a conflict of interest when it comes to that. And the court said there weren't. But whatever. What I am concerned about are the jobs and the property values and the industry and the opportunity for business, where we can have our digital grass incubator helping small businesses get online, get on course, where we can have jobs in the Innovation District. I'm not concerned. I just feel like this city is everybody's city. I don't feel like you can't come to District 2 because it's my district. I just don't feel that way. I think we ought to look at it like it's a whole city. And I am concerned about moving the city forward with this innovation project, however we have to do it, with one of the best firms in the country, frankly. And I think they've done a great job. And I know it's not going to make me popular, but that's the risk I take. I sit and I listen to everyone here, and I'm told that I don't care about the Northwest CRA, that I don't care what's happening in District 4, and it is not the case. It is, in fact, not true, and it couldn't be farther from the truth, because the health of the Northwest CRA and the health of District 4 is good for the health of this entire city. Thank you.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. Public input is closed now. Further CRA board discussion. Commissioner McMahon.
I think this whole project, what we're talking about, has been taken out of context. We're talking about changing contracts that are already active with the city and switching them to a different type of contract. What happened on the beach and what happened in our city in 9 years is one in a million, probably. It's an award-winning projects that have happened in this city in every part. You can't say it's only at the beach. 731 MLK was the first retail building built in 50 years. And that was done by Kim. That was done by RMA. The streetscape on MLK was done by RMA. What's happened on the beach area is not just another parking garage. It's not just another restaurant. These are award-winning, one-of-a-kind restaurants that are nowhere else in the area.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have conversations, take them outside. Thank you.
And yes, I'm going out on a limb like Rhonda, and I support 100% of what she said. They know what they're doing, and we need this expertise. We went from a staff of 22 people that if you look at the numbers and break it down, we were getting a bargain. We were getting a great deal compared to city employees. City employees cost a lot more money. Going in-house with our 4 employees probably cost as much as having their entire staff at our disposal. We had architects, we had landscape people, we had everything under one contract with RMA. We were saving money. They took input from everybody. Without RMA's expertise, we wouldn't have the Ally Center. We wouldn't have the Baca Center. Both of those buildings were preserved through RMA and their expertise. Chris Brown is huge in saving history, and he fought for those buildings to be saved. Without a doubt, I know that for a fact. This company has an incredible record, award-winning. And if we're going to take this innovation district and make it something, they are the people we need to help us. They are the expertise. Mayor, if they talk out of turn, can we ask them to leave, please?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Please. Public input is closed. Thank you.
What they've done with our beach area and what they've done with Old Town and what they've done with MLK are all the pieces to make this amazing. I today went through maps and looked at before City Vista existed. They negotiated that. Before MLK was beautiful as it is today. It would have been finished if we didn't have the settlement that we got from the county. Do I think that the previous board should have accepted that settlement? No. I would tell any of the county commissioners that. We got pennies on the dollars. The county took advantage of our city, and they do quite often, and I'm going out on a limb and saying that also. I truly think that these are the experts we need. The way everything went down before, what Kim said tonight was nothing personal about you can't say how you feel about their contract. You can say that. But please don't bash their company. Don't make them lose another contract because you're making information up that's not true. So don't go after them personally is what they asked. They didn't say you can't say what you feel about this contract. If you don't think RMA should be here, you have every right to say that. But don't personally attack their company and what they do. I think that this is a great thing. I think that the RMA is a necessary part of this. I value very much that Kim and Chris didn't walk away from Pompano because they can. This $230,000 contract, I hate to say it, is not a big piece of their business. It's not a huge part of their pie. They don't need to do this, but both of them truly care about the city of Pompano, and that's why they're here. And I'm very happy that I'm able to sit up here and say that, and I think I made my point. I'm going to support them being experts in helping us develop the Innovation District. Thank you.
Thank you. Further board discussion. Commissioner McGee.
I want to say, the way in which I look at this, similar to some of my colleagues, is the Innovation District, that area of Pompano, is really the heart of our city. It's right in the middle, and it has the potential to really be an amazing piece. But it needs a lot of work. To develop 60 acres into this type of a project is a daunting task that not any developer can take on, that not any staff can take on. And so with it being our heart, I know that if I were going to get a heart transplant, I would want the best doctor I could find. I would want the top in the field who I would trust with something as important as my heart. RMA is one of the best in the field. And so therefore, with this level of project, with this level of redevelopment, that's who I would want working on the heart of my city. So that's it.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Moss.
For anybody who's watched me sitting up here for about 5 years, you know how I feel about RMA, and I support them, and I support what my colleagues over here have said. But I'd like to just remind people of this. The last election was about the direction of the city, where we wanted to go. And a large part of that was RMA. We litigated this discussion at the ballot box. And the people who support moving this city forward in the vision that RMA is presenting to us won. So the battle's over. Really, for those of you who are not in favor of RMA or not in favor of the direction that the city is moving, please accept defeat graciously. We've had an election.
Ladies and gentlemen.
A decision was made, and I'm going to vote to move forward with this, as it sounds like my colleagues are too. So please stop banging your head against the wall and relitigating something that's already happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
So I enthusiastically support RMA and what they're trying to do for our city, and I will vote in favor of this contract. Thanks.
Very good. Very good. Further board discussion? Commissioner Perkins?
Yes, Mayor. I think it's very clear at this point that the Northwest community can see a bigger, better picture now of what's going on in the city of Pompano Beach. And I think this was a very good eye-opener for all of us tonight, because a lot of you can see me sitting on this dais fighting for you. And some of the things that I fight for, I don't even agree with, but I have to go along with the people. I think when Ms. Briesmeister said what she said, I know she changed the mood of this entire room. And it has been said that RMA left because of one of the commissioner's political ideas of what he or she thought of RMA. And the reason being is because there was a big, I think it was on Channel 10 News a while back in February, I think it was 2018, there was a big clip about RMA purchasing land in the city of Pompano Beach where they are hired to redevelop. And that's where all of this started, well, most of it started. And from there, there was a lot of back and forward, and RMA decided to resign. And since they resigned, we have not spoke, talked, or cleared up anything since they left. It's still the same way. People still feel the same way they did when they saw the clip on Channel 10 News. So here they're coming back a different way, now that it's much later, almost a year later, and they're coming back to say that we want to do a service contract. And the community is still not with it, feeling it, nor wanting it. I've discussed with the city manager. He knows basically how I feel, and I've expressed how I felt about RMA coming back. I do feel like there are other groups or other organizations in the state of Florida that can do the same thing. I've said on many occasions, and I'm going to say it again, RMA has done a wonderful job on the beach. I'm very impressed with it. I enjoy it. I'm glad when family comes to town, I can just show off Pompano Beach. It looks great. But I have not, since I've been involved in politics since 1983, I have not seen the city of Pompano Beach so divided as I have now. And it's because of our leadership. I have worked diligently with E.Pat Larkins. I worked with Nate Braverman when he was the mayor, Emmylou Olson, and my main man, Herb Skolnick. And I've never seen it like this. And one thing life has taught me and politics has taught me is how to humble myself. So on this dais, whether I disagree with any of the commissioners or whatever up here, I respect them because the people thought enough of them to put them in the seat. So I have to respect them. So when they ask for something, I have to go along with what they suggest. But we're talking about what we want in Pompano and how we feel. They're sitting up on this dais talking about money. They're talking about 70 acres in the Northwest community, and this is all you all have, and this is all you're going to get. That's what it sounds like. This is final. I heard the word final. And they are going to vote for this tonight, even though the community say they do not want it. And we have to be mindful of that. The other thing that I'm not happy about at this point is the way people look at the city of Pompano Beach. We're on the news when it comes to crime and shooting and drugs and cats and chickens. This is what we're on the news, Channel 7, Channel 10. I've never seen our city in the predicament it's in right now. And it's very sad. I feel like I could work with everybody in the city of Pompano Beach. I wasn't raised prejudiced at all. It's not in my DNA, never have been. But I do care about this city because wherever I've lived, and when I lived in California, I was proud to tell people I was from Pompano Beach. I didn't tell them I was from Northwest Pompano. I told them I was from Pompano Beach. And I'm still proud to say that. But I'm not proud to see us on the news for drugs and crimes and all of that stuff. So I just hope that this is a wake-up call for the Northwest community. And the reason that these people sitting up here are not respecting the Northwest community because they think we're divided. They're not together. Because we can pull this one, we can pull that one, we can pull this one, and we can neglect the rest of you because we know what we can do with the certain people. So I'm not feeling happy sitting up here right now. I know Pat Larkins is not happy right now. And my friend Herb Skolnick, I can just picture him. I have all due respect for him because I'm in his office he used to be in. And it's proud. I feel proud to be in the office because I knew what the commissioners stood for when I had to sit out there in the audience and listen to them. And they were together. It was like collegiate voting back then. Whatever a commissioner wanted in their district, they got it. But so many things happened after E. Pat Larkins passed away. And I come on the scene and I'm just can't believe it. A lot, yeah, it has a lot to do with money. But I want the Northwest community to understand that we've got to come together. We've got to be able to work with everybody in the city in order to get what we want done. Now, right now, I'm going to vote against this. And I'm the lone voter. Everybody's giving you their opinion up here. They're going to pass it. They're going to pass it. And it's a wake-up call for this community. Stop talking among each other about what's going on. Come to these commissioner meetings, speak your piece, meet with the city manager, meet with the mayor, and share what you're feeling and what you're thinking and what you want in this community. I felt so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, please,
But
please.
I know what you're saying, so what? But we can sit down and we can talk with the city manager. We can sit down. You can sit down and talk with the mayor. It does matter. It will make a difference. We got to start somewhere, and that is a start. But we've all got to connect. I know we feel disrespected. I feel it a lot of times sitting up here on the dais. But I'm not giving up. I will fight until I can't breathe any longer. Because I know what Pompano means to me. It's in my DNA here as well. So I stand with this, with the community of not wanting RMA as a service contractor for that big developer, which is 70 acres. I'm against it. I stated that to the city manager, but it was something they wanted for us. They made a decision for us as they usually do. And we have to do what? So, you know, that's where I am. I do want to say to Mayor Rex Harden that I want to see the community come together more so than ever before. We're very divided, and I want to see us all together. I don't know what it's going to take, but let's start with some conversation with you and the community, and perhaps I can get with a few of you and meet with the city manager and we can have another conversation. But something has to be done, and it has to start with conversation and communication. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Tonight's discussions were disappointing. It's painful to watch people that I know believe in the city, believe in the process, and believe in the future that we have in our city to be brought to a point where they have to make a decision and know that it may be detrimental to the future, that the future vision that we have I say the future vision that we have developed. And I say that not loosely. The future vision that we do have in this city has been developed by us. It wasn't by me. It wasn't by Commissioner Perkins. It wasn't by Kim Briesmeister. It wasn't by Greg Harrison or Nguyen Tran. That vision was developed by us. Now, it may not suit everyone, and I understand that. It never has. Neither did the beach. The vision that we have and are working towards at the beach. And we're never going to have complete agreement in that regard. I understand that. But it's painful to me to go through what we went through tonight and find people who I know believe in that vision and believe in the future of Pompano Beach and have to take a stand to basically encourage us not to do what is best for the future of our city, which what is best for the future of our city is to have the best personnel, the best expertise, the best way to accomplish our shared vision. And I had some discussions with the gentleman I greatly respect about this issue, and I sat down and talked about that. Yes, I know there's differing opinions out there about this issue. It's strongly held by some folks, but the reason that I was supportive of it was because we need expertise, personnel, to keep moving the vision for the city of Pompano Beach forward. And I think it would be a disservice, I explained to this gentleman, for us not to hire the best resources that we could to give our city the best opportunity for success for our residents, for our city. And that gentleman, he believed in what I said, and he believed in that idea that we do want to do what's best. And it pains me to have what happened tonight by statement that was read at the podium to create the kind of angst and anxiousness that it has. And it's unfortunate that it's unfortunate that Ms. Briesmeister felt it necessary to read what she read. And I know the reasons behind it. There's a long history, and what has taken place in the past was detrimental to her business. And I understand her desire to protect her business, and that's understandable. But it's disappointing that we have gotten so off track on this issue, where it's really what we're talking about is hiring the best expertise, not to develop a vision. The vision is there. Now we can tweak it a little along the way, but and I know there's differences, like I said, but it's disappointing to me that we've had this tonight, and I'm sorry for that. I truly am. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry that we have gotten to this point, and I have to agree with Commissioner Perkins that we do need to have a come to Jesus meeting, if for lack of a better term, to come to a better understanding of ways that we can work with each other and work together. Perhaps not in total agreement, but at least so we're civil to one another. Thank you. Call the roll.
Commissioner Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner McGee?
Yes.
Commissioner McMahon?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins? Vice Mayor Moss?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Thank you. Takes us down to reports. Mr. Harrison.
No report, Mayor.
Very good. Ms. McKenna?
Very, very briefly, Mayor, I'm sure all of you on the dais have seen CSHB 9, the CRA bill that was adopted by the legislature, but I wanted to share with our listeners the high points of the bill. You may recall that we, along with a lot of other CRAs throughout the state, adopted resolutions requesting that the legislature not put in the bill the limitations on the operation and administration of CRAs. That effort, through all of the lobbying and all of the resolutions that were sent to Tallahassee, was successful. And I'm happy to report to our residents and visitors that What the bill does is it does a number of things for transparency and reporting. It requires ethics training for all CRA board members. We use the same procurement process as the city. It revises our annual reporting requirements. It does allow us to extend CRAs beyond 2039, and as you recall, there was a limitation on that. It has a number of provisions about reporting requirements and what we have to do with our budget and amendments, and it addresses some audit requirements. So all in all, it ended up being a positive bill for CRAs, and I think for citizens as well, because it certainly enhanced our training, ethics, and transparency.
Very good. Thank you. Next meeting date is June the 18th, 2019. Just to point that out. CRA Board. Commissioner Eaton.
No report really, but can you provide us just a brief narrative in an email or on a memo of what you just said? Again, it's just difficult to hear everything, and I'm very interested.
Absolutely. I will actually forward to you what the Florida Redevelopment Association, summarized for us. So it's a good summary, and I'll send that to you.
Thank you very much. That concludes my.
Very good. Commissioner McGee.
Actually, that started to jump on Rhonda's suggestion. Can you with the summary, can you put the actual legislative text just so we can?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I assumed all of you had it, and I
went through it, but I'd like
apologize.
to go.
I will always send it to you.
That'd be great.
Commissioner McMahon.
No report.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes, Mayor. Blanche Ely High School has won the state championship again for the basketball team.
Ooh.
And they have requested some assistance from the city of Pompano Beach regarding their championship rings or jerseys or sweaters or something. And I wanted to ask the city manager, where are we with that?
Sure. Okay.
As I understand it, there's some members of the private business community that have raised all the money that the coach asked for.
Okay, do we give anything toward the championship to Ely basketball team, the city of Pompano as a whole?
No, ma'am. The private business community.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
The private business community took care of it.
Okay. If we could, before school ends, I'd like to invite the basketball team here to City Hall and perhaps give all of them a certificate of congratulations. If we could have them here and acknowledge them personally, I would be happy with that.
Yes, ma'am. I have that from your instructions to me from last meeting.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, when you get a date for that, Mr. Harrison, just let us know it so we can publicize it, let people know. Very good. Vice Mayor?
The mayor and Commissioner Eaton and I had fun today at the Cresthaven Elementary School on Career Day. It was lots of fun being with the second, third, and fourth graders, and they got a good civics lesson. So that was just wanted to let you know that our young students are very involved and interested in government. Thank you.
Very good. I have no report. This meeting is adjourned.